Good afternoon. It is the 27th of March, and you can kind of see out there. Maybe you can even hear the rain pinging off of my umbrella. Maybe you even heard the rumble of that thunder. It's a rainy day, thunder showers. I haven't seen any lightning near me. I am up on a ridge here, obviously. I am north of, oh, well now that one was closer. That was high level though. But yeah, that was closer. Okay. But anyway, I am north of Daleville, hiking back to Daleville. I'll be there tomorrow night, I think. Ran into and just as I was leaving my car today, it was early afternoon. The rain started, and let me just adjust this here so I don't get water on my camera here. Just as I was walking out from my vehicle, the drizzle started on cue. So, yeah. It should be good though. The temperature is pleasant. It's not pouring rain. It's, more sprinkling. Ran into a hiker who doesn't use the 2-car method. He is using a 1-car method. So he is hiking along. He does have a vehicle, and so he will hike to his vehicle and then reposition it. And I think he can maybe reposition or resupply from it. We didn't really get into that. But then he takes a shuttle back south from where he parks his vehicle and then hikes to his vehicle again. So he's not hiking south as he goes north. He is hiking north as he goes north. He started this section, he said, this year in Harrisburg, which is where he left off last year. So I'll probably see him again. His name was Dare, just a year older than me. Oh, and I'm coming up onto the first shelter here. Maybe I'll stop in for a snack. There's no water here though. This is kind of a dry section. And yeah. Okay, moving on. So I'm in Cove Mountain Shelter, and I'm going to geek out a little bit about gear here. So you see I have 2 different poles which I'm using. One is obviously by Geeky, the other one is by Z-Packs. It's a little bit, collapsed right here. The Z-Packs one is a carbon fiber, and the Geeky is, I guess it's steel. Here's what I wanted to show you though, and a little bit why I'm using 2 of them. So I actually started out this year with 4 good poles. 2 of my poles have suffered casualties. One of the Geekys, and the little plug here just came right out. I actually felt it when it happened, and there was no sort of putting it back in. And so that Geeky is sitting in one of the cars. You'll notice a little bit different, something different on this Z-Packs one, and that is, you'll notice that this is sort of curved that way, right? Yeah, and so I stopped using this one when it started curving. What will happen with these poles, once they start curving, that means they're sort of weakened on the inside, and eventually they will break off. And sure enough, day before yesterday when I was out, my other Z-Packs, one, developed this, and it basically started cracking here right about that point. And I just sort of like pulled it out like a kid pulls out a loose tooth. And so it was a stump for a couple days until I could get back to the car and have one. This one I don't know. This one may last another week or two. Oh, there's more thunder here. I'm doing this while the cell passes overhead. So this will last, a week or two, and then this one will break off too. These things can be replaced. They're very difficult to replace on the Z-Packs. None of the replacement tips that you can buy Amazon or in your outfitter store really seem to fit well. And so they last a little while, and then this starts happening again. But you can see the sort of difference here. One tip is actually longer than the other tip. Yeah. And one other thing, sort of geek-wise, I have noticed that the carbide tips on the Leckies last longer. They're harder. The carbide is harder. It's softer on the Z-Packs one, and so they sort of end up becoming rounded, and the edges are not as distinct, which could be a little safety issue if you have this sort of like skipping off of granite because your tip is rounded. So otherwise, I like the Z-Packs poles. They're lighter, and they're just fine. But yeah, don't like the tips. So this is the exact same camping spot, almost probably the same orientation of my tent that I had 2 years ago at Boblett's Gap. Already in my sleeping bag. I like to cook and eat in my sleeping bag. I don't like go out. So here's my cook kit. Here's what I dug up here locally. So this is going to go in my Spanish rice that has some freeze-dried beef particles in it. And here's its friend, still in the ground. Right where I want to put my pot, actually, but there we go. So I'll cut these up, and I think it's going to be, they're very fragrant. I can smell them from here. I can hear some people at the shelter, which is only like a tenth away. They're shouting at each other. I'm glad I'm not part of the drama. Oh, and I like my Minimo here, but the piezo sparker went out, I don't know, maybe last summer. And for this trip, I have been using this separate piezo sparker, like on a lanyard. And it went out a couple days ago. And I was carrying a backup cricket lighter. And about the same time, this cricket lighter went out. And I don't know what it is with these cricket lighters, but they just terrible igniters. So fortunately, I think the last time I tried to use it, I was able to get one spark out of the cricket, but I've now gone back to the Bic, which I've used in the past. Hope this is going to be reliable. But yep. And I'm also carrying some matches, just in case.